This Father's Day at Lowe's, score free gifts for the greatest dad. Right now, get a free select DeWalt, Craftsman, or Cobalt tool with purchase of a select battery kit. Plus, get a free Werner 2-foot aluminum ladder when you buy an 8-foot fiberglass ladder. Shop these deals and more this Father's Day at Lowe's. We help, you save. Valid through 6/15 while supplies last. Selection varies by location.
If you're a podcast host, listen up, this one's for you. My name is Allie Jackson. I'm the host of Finding Mr. Height, a dating and relationship podcast that I've been doing for 4 years now, sharing my positive and practical approach to dating that's built on my own life experience. And I wanted to share another experience that I've had, my secret behind monetizing my show. It's called Red Circle, and I was just telling my colleague about how much I love their platform. With Red Circle, not only am I getting a seamless hosting experience, but I also love the support I receive in ad sales. It's not just typical ad sales either. It's targeted opportunities based on my show and my life. And the platform is super simple. You just set your preferences and Red Circle matches you with sponsors that align with your show. You can vet every opportunity and their platform gives you great analytics. More recently too, my Red Circle team has brought me opportunities outside of my podcast on social media to really augment the podcast partnerships, bring them full circle. I just can't recommend them enough. If you want to give it a try, go to redcircle.com to get your free trial. That's redcircle.com for a free trial.
Kempire is brought to you by Philly. The Kempire After Dark live experience is coming to you first on July 10th. Yeah, that's the same day that Real Housewives of Orange County is premiering, but our show will be better. I guarantee it. It's a night of hot topics, comedy, and so much more with special guest Alexander Rogers. We spilling tea as well. And don't forget, if you are in Atlanta, I'll be there on August 5th. Then we'll be in DC on August 22nd. Then back here in New York City on September 12th. All shows have meet and greets available, so get those if you don't already, if you want a picture with me or kiki with me. And don't forget, the New York City show has a live stream option exclusively. And what I say in Washington, DC, Philly, or Atlanta will not be the same thing that I mentioned in New York City. And don't forget, you have access to that live stream link for at least a week. Be sure to check out the description for more details on how you can be a part of the Kempire After Dark, the Villain Era live summer tour. You're listening to Kempire here on the Kempire Radio Network. What's going on, everyone? Easing out a little bit. Just a tad. Happy Thursday. At first I said I was going to wait and do a Real Housewives of Miami recap on Friday just because I wanted to have time and I was going to prioritize our daily recap of the Diddy trial. But then I said, no, we all need a little bit of a break from the traumatic recapping of the Diddy trial. Your Diddy update for day 22 will be late because I have plans this evening and I'm going to prioritize plans over Diddy, okay? So you more than likely will get your Diddy Day 22 a little bit late, but some of you don't listen to it until it comes to the podcast and you listen to it the next day. We shall see when I'll be able to get it out to you, but maybe it'll be a double tomorrow. So stay tuned for that. And if you missed it, we've been recapping the Diddy trial for the last almost 4 weeks. Be sure to check out the podcast version because there's extended options there as well. Speaking of the podcast, I also dropped a Club Kempire episode where I talked about the BET Awards. So if you want to hear all my thoughts and a recap of the BET Awards, there is a Club Kempire paid subscription on Apple. And there is a, 3 free day trial. So be sure to check that out. All right. Live chat, be sure to let me know how you would rate the premiere episode of season 7 of The Real Housewives of Miami. I thought it was fantastic. If dare I say, I would give their premiere a 10. And we never give 10s. We never give 10s, but I felt like it was really good. And there was a lot of stuff going on. Doesn't mean that there is some forced storylines happening, which we will talk about. But they just know how to do it. And I think because it's such a big cast and the friend ofs aren't really just friend ofs. Oh, wait, I got to get my little photos for Miami. Welcome back, Miami. And this is not an official. Shout out to the Twitter user that did this. I forgot his name. I apologize in advance. But he did a fantastic job of putting all the women on the actual, photo. Instead, right now, because they haven't introduced the newbie yet, I believe she's coming in, not the next couple. I think she's not coming into like the 4th episode or something like that. But it looks very bare with just the 5 of them. That's my only thing. So I like this image better than anything because I feel like everyone contributes to this show and makes this show great, especially the friend ofs. Because remember, we have like 3 friend ofs, right? Is it 3? We have Adriana, we have Marisol, who are OGs, and we have Kiki. So yeah, we have 3 friend ofs, and then we have, of course, Miami. Look, I have a lot of thoughts and opinions, so let's just get on into it. If you had to rate this week's episode of Real Housewives of Miami, how would you rate it? I'm seeing a lot of 10s. I see a 9.5 on Facebook. I'm seeing a lot of 10s. TikTok, let me know how you would rate this week's episode. I would give it a 10. And I'm very particular. I'm a very particular person. But I have to say, I watched it 2.5 because I watched it last night. Then I watched it this morning before Pilates. A little bit before Pilates. Like I was almost done. But then when I came back, because I knew I wanted to go live, I said, let me start from the beginning so I can take notes. And so actually more than 2.5, maybe like 2 and like almost 3. Almost 3 times I've watched this episode. And I was thoroughly entertained. They start off the episode with, mind you, they've been, because, Miami's been gone for a hot second. But apparently production were making sure that they were capturing some of what's been playing out in their lives, including Alexia's divorce. Because you remember, we all were shocked that Alexia was getting this divorce, that Todd was the one that filed for it. So they rehash on how we were introduced to Todd and Alexia's relationship back in 2022 when they got married. They're showing all the things. They're in love, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Fast forward. Alexia is blindsided by the news when the blogs find out that Todd has filed for divorce. So at the very beginning of this episode, they're showing us the different moments where she's reacting to this, okay? She meets up with, first of all, they show the actual cast reacting to the divorce news in the blogs, okay, and in the media. So then we have this scene with Marisol, Julia, which is interesting, but it's important to note because Julia is no longer as tight as she was with her once bestie, Adriana. I don't know. I'm not surprised that Adriana and Julia have fallen apart. And now when I look back at their friendship, although it seemed like they were really close and codependent, I feel like Adriana only hitched her wagon to Julia because Julia was going to be coming on the show as full-time. And I do believe the friend ofs of the show want to be full-time. They want to hold their mojito. But I tell them, y'all don't need a mojito. Y'all are equal to us. But I know they want equal pay. They want equal pay. So then there's that part. I get it. They want that money. Even though Bravo's not paying what they used to. And mind you, the Miami's ladies had the huge gap before they came back. And they've had stellar 3 seasons. And it looks like they're about to have a 4th stellar season. So the check is not as good as it would have been if they were on consistently for years. Okay. So Marisol, so back to what I was saying. So I think that Adriana hitched her wagon to Julia because Julia was going to be full-time, which means she could film with her, have more screen time. Julia's also married to Martina. And here's the thing, Julia, the only reason, okay, I'm going to be harsh. Buckle up. If you are the faint of heart, you're not going to be able to handle this, Julia. Let me start off with something nice, Julia. At BravoCon, Julia was selling these jams. And I remember I was with Taria, and Taria's friend was in line for one of the jams, and they were giving out samples of the jam. I had the jam. I said, oh, this is delicious. I heard it's expensive, her jam. I don't know if she's even still selling it. And I kept on saying, I need to get the jam because the jam was good. And I'm a foodie. So I was like, this is good, Julie. And she's stunning in person. Okay, enough good stuff? Did I say enough good stuff? Y'all let me know while I take a sip. Did I say enough good stuff before I go in? Are you ready? Are you? Did I say enough good stuff? Judy says yes, I did. Okay. Julia, let me hold your hand while I say this. Look, let me hold your hand while I say this. The only reason that you're still on this show is because of Martina. The only reason you're still on this show is because of Martina and Bravo and American culture being obsessed with celebrity. Okay? That is the only reason you're still on this show. And I'm not saying her first season, but remember, her first season when we found out all that stuff about her child and her ex and blah, 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 blah. Remember, we found that out during the reunion. Okay? We found that out during the reunion. And then it all came out during the reunion. Then I was like, okay, we're good. We're good. We don't need Julia anymore. But they brought her back. And I was like, okay, fine. Okay, let me hold your hand again, Julia. The jam was jamming. You're gorgeous. You're beautiful. Let me hold your hand. Luckily for you, there's so many stellar people on this cast, including the friend ofs. So it's okay. You're sort of coasting. And I'm not sure what you're doing this so far with Gertie, but let me hold your hand. The only reason you're here is because of Martina and the fact that this cast is stellar. And some are stellar for all the wrong reasons. Right, Alexia? Right, Larsa? They're stellar for all the wrong reasons, but that's what makes reality television. Okay. I'm going to let your hand go. Because when I really go in later, you might hit me. All right. Mia Moore says, I miss Leah Black. She's definitely what is Carlos called a force multiplier. And we've said they kind of need, if there was something that we would need to improve with this cast, I think we would need something like a Leah Black. I don't know if I need Leah herself, but something like a Leah Black. But maybe this newbie is like that. I don't know. Wait a minute. So we have our official friend does, but Carmen Carrera is supposed to be making an appearance. I'm guessing maybe as a guest. So we're going to have a jam-packed cast this season for Real Housewives of Miami season 7. All right, let me get back to this. Guys, don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to share the video because if y'all want this show to come back, we got to make sure that our recaps are lit, that people know about this show. So make sure you guys are also sharing this live. That goes for you, TikTok. Keep tapping your screens. There's 100 of you here. We're talking about the Real Housewives of Miami. Share, because Miami, it's consistent for us. We get good crowds here for our Miami recaps. However, those ratings for Miami never hit. And if I'm being honest, this is where I say the ratings don't matter because the show is actually really good. It was so good that they took it from being exclusively on Peacock and bringing it over to Bravo. And I don't know what that transition did to the confessional lighting. Again, we told you, I know that the production watches. Remember, they were in the chat, like our first season recapping it. I know they watch. What happened with the lighting? It's like you guys moved from Peacock. It's the same production company. Is it a different place that you're filming? The lighting is terrible on these confessionals. Go back to the lighting from the first season. When I say the first season of the reboot. Like it's like hit or miss with some of those confessional lightings. And especially for the black women, black people, not just black women, black people need proper lighting. But everyone's lighting is offed. But that's the only critique. Well, not really. But that's my only production critique is the confessional lighting it's a little off. All right, so back to this. So Marisol, Julia, damn, I really went on a tangent. Marisol, Julia, and Alexia are at Marisol's home. Okay? So Alexia is I can't believe it's doing this. Not a tear in sight. Not a tear in sight. But I don't know. I have some speculations on what this Todd and Alexia thing is. Because at first I was open to Alexia and Todd getting back together because I didn't know the context. But now we know the context and I'm like, either something else is going on here and you're privy to it, or it's a storyline, or you're just that Less than smart. Okay, we'll do a Wendyism here, because I was going to say the D word or the S word, but she's like, Alexia's crying, and it pains me to see her cry, and not because I'm empathetic. It pains me because it looks painful. Oh, sorry. It looks painful when she's crying. See, Kiki says that Todd is trying to hide assets. I don't know. Like, I'm a little suspicious. It's giving Nene and Greg from, y'all don't remember that one? When they got a divorce? And the speculation behind that divorce? Okay. Fine. So, according to Alexia, she says the night before he filed for divorce and it hit the blogs, she said they went out to dinner together. They had sex together. And then the next day, he filed for divorce. The next day, y'all went out. You thought all was copacetic. All was good. Okay? Y'all even had sex. And he was like, you're the best woman. You give the best sex. And I believe her. She's a Taurus. Right, Dina? Look, Dina. Now that I know Dina's a Taurus, I will always go back to this. Amara says Kempire is really in his villain era. Reminder, the Kempire After Dark live show is coming to Philly, July 10th. Atlanta, August 5th. DC, August 22nd. New York, September 12th. And maybe more dates, okay? Maybe more dates. Stay tuned. I'm trying, y'all. It's only me. Whoa, Campfire. Tanya says she reminds me of Teresa from Real Housewives of New Jersey. Mind you, they're actually really good friends, and they're both Tauruses. Both women are Tauruses. So she says that she had sex with him. He said, you're the best person to have sex with, blah, blah. Can y'all remind me what Todd's astrological sign is? Do we know? But if this is true, that he had dinner with her the night before, had sex with her the night before, and filed for divorce, and she truly was blindsided, that is foul. And as a Taurus, I get it. For us, when we're loyal to you, we're really loyal to you. So it's going to take a little bit for him to break that level of loyalty, for her to be done with him. It's going to take a little bit. However, I think that would have been it for me. You having sex and doing all this stuff with me the night before, and then you embarrass me and file for divorce? Because that's the thing for Tauruses, too. We do not like to be embarrassed. Badger Mama says, I do not like Alexia or Teresa. And mind you, I don't. Taurus women are not the best representatives on reality television. Kim Zolciak. The only one we got is Candy. Thank you, Candy. She's the only Taurus woman on reality television. And I'm like, woo, we can root for somebody. Any other ones? There's got to be at least one other one besides me. He's a Scorpio? Oh. He's a Scorpio? Can we confirm that? I can see why they connect. I wouldn't necessarily recommend Scorpios and Tauruses to date, but we are like sister signs in regards to astrology. So there's a lot of similarities when it comes to Scorpios and Tauruses. He's November 19th. Oh. he's a Scorpio. Okay, thanks, Amaris. Shout out to our King's Guards and our channel members. We appreciate you guys. Cam, thank you so much for the super chat. Cam says, hey, Kempire, first time super chatter, long time watcher. Thank you. Cam says, why do you think Miami reboot is working extremely well and New York's reboot didn't? Because remember, the difference between the Miami reboot and the New York reboot is that with Miami, they still had elements of the past, of the OGs, of the groundwork, the foundation of Miami. And not only that, I also believe that a lot of these women have either been friends, like Marisol and Alexia and Adriana, even though not necessarily together all the time, but there was actually a friendship there. And there have been friendships that have grown. Whoever did the casting did a good job, because they weren't just thinking about, oh, you have a fabulous life, let's include you in the show. They wanted to see the personalities and how they would mesh. I think that's where it went wrong for Roni. I think they focused too much on, let's create our version of Sex and the City, and didn't really think about the personalities. Sidebar, y'all already heard that Brandon's not coming back because her dating app is doing so well.
Lies! The lie!
Okay, girl. Last I heard, Bryn, you were struggling, but anyway, allegedly. Last I heard. Moving on. Let me get through this, guys, because I cannot even be up here long, and I want to be able to take callers. If you're just joining us, we're talking about the latest episode of the Real Housewives of Miami, Season 7, Episode 1, premiere episode. If you're watching the replay of this, be sure to let us know how you would rate the premiere episode of Real Housewives of Miami. Don't forget, you can also hear our live recap on the Kempire podcast. Your Diddy update for day 22 will be late today because I got plans, okay? I got plans. It's summer. I'm going to be outside. All right. Let me get back to this. So Alexia is busy crying over Todd. She can't believe he did that to her. He blindsided her. She says she ended up going because she recalls him saying like, oh, don't you have to go? Don't you have to go? And she says that when she came back, everything was missing. He moved himself and his daughter out. And apparently the previous month, he ended up getting an apartment. Something's fishy. Something's fishy about this story. But I haven't heard about anything when it comes to Todd and his businesses. But something's very fishy about this situation. And she said that down to the toothpaste he took. So how long were you gone? And why was he escaping out like that? Why wasn't he like a man and saying, I can't do this anymore, I'm gone? Because, well, the night before he's sleeping with you and acting like everything's good. To blindside you in that way, mind you, this is not a new relationship. Before they even got together, they were together for a few years, if I'm correct. They were dating for a while before they actually got. If anything, I think they were together longer as not married than married. And look, honestly, that's what I thought it was. I said maybe marriage is what, for some people in their heads, marriage changes things. And I said, oh, maybe literally, this is what I'm thinking. Oh, the marriage is what sort of made the relationship change, and they're better off both not being married, and they have a better relationship. Some people, it works that way. Look at Goldie Hawn and Kirk Russell. They never got married, and they've been together longer than some of these married couples. So, and look at Oprah and Stedman. So that's what I originally thought with Alexia and Todd. But maybe not. Jasmine says to blindside Frankie is inconsiderate and effed up. That's the other thing. She was very upset that Frankie was just like, Todd's gone. We didn't get any Frankie in this episode. It probably would have been a 10 plus. It would have been too much for us to get Frankie in this episode too, because we love Frankie. All right. Peter, not so much. We could do without Peter. Thank you kindly. We don't need to see him at all this season. Now, Frankie, yes. All right. So she says that she has that meetup with Marisol and Julia. Interesting. And so she's upset. They're trying to comfort her. Then, in another scene, Alexia FaceTimes with Teresa. I thought they were going to show Teresa. Teresa's everywhere. Poor Teresa. Teresa can't wait to be back on her own show. She swears that she's returning. I'm not saying that she's not, but she's just like, of course, they got to have me. They got to have me. Okay, that's part of the reason, because Bravo feels like they want to have everyone, including your sister-in-law. So, because all of them are going to BravoCon, the mains, not Jennifer Aiden or Danielle Cabral or Rachel or any of them. So Teresa FaceTimes with Adriana, and she's like, he blindsided me. And there we go again, more crying and no tears. All right. And Teresa's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Okay. Alexia then meets up with the group. And mind you, this is 5 months before. So production was already underway 5 months before they really started production. And I don't know if they just picked up the cameras to capture these moments so that they could use them for the season. I'm assuming that they did. So this is happening 5 months before. Alexia meets up with the rest of the women to let them know. So she's really emotional, and they're all trying to, comfort her, except Adriana. Adriana does not see it for Alexia. She never will. She's sitting there having her champagne as everyone's trying to comfort her. Adriana says, a lot of things make sense now. Remember, she was the one calling it last season. that something wasn't copacetic in that relationship. Adriana's over there sipping on her champagne. Oh, a lot of things make sense now. That made me laugh because everyone is like, oh, Alexia. Oh, whoa, 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 Alexia.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Everyone is like, oh, my God, Alexia. And Adriana's just sitting there, she's like, oh, a lot of things make sense now. Adriana won. This episode, Adriana won. She got that new man. Can we talk? Adriana, get out of here if you're watching. Adriana, get out of here for a hot second while I say this. Is she paying him? Is she? Because at first I was like, when I first watched, I was like, good for Adriana. Because don't get me wrong. Adriana's a beautiful woman. She's actually really intelligent too. And I'm not saying that to say that like people would be surprised. I think people that have not watched the early years of Adriana on Real Housewives of Miami, she's very educated. She speaks multiple languages. Like she is very cultured to the European definition of cultured. Okay, very cultured woman. So I'm not surprised, but at the same time, I was like, I kept on looking, and I was like, wait, is she paying him? Because remember, I do feel like some of these friend doves, they want that full-time check. Like Marisol allegedly got married to that man. Well, got married. I think officially they get married this season. Got married to that man so that she could be full-time on the show. And that didn't even happen. Creme Brulee says it's giving TJ from RHOP. I mean, I hope. I hope. But you know the French. You never know with the French, okay? But I had to say, especially at the party. At the party, I was like, wait a minute, Adriana, is this real? The way that she was all over him. And I'm not, the French, they're very romantic. They're very touchy-feely. So I'm not surprised at that. But I was just like, is she paying him? I mean, look, if not, I'm happy for her. Because like I said, she won. Yeah, yes, and Adriana is classically trained pianist. So she is that girl. And I didn't fall for it when she was trying to do the whole music thing. And I was just like, okay, she's a housewife. And even though the song is fire, the song was fire. But I was just like, Adriana, you're better than this. And she's like an art curator. Like, Adriana is very intelligent. I hope that this is a real relationship. Foxy says that kiss was cringy. It became cringy. At first, I was like, okay. But then they kept on going, and everyone's just sitting there like, what are you guys doing right now? Okay. It does. Okay, fine. All right, I've digressed. All right, so Alexia meets up with Lisa and Marisol. But before Lisa gets there, they want to talk about Lisa because Lenny, the announcement that Lenny and his fiance had broken off their fiance. But I think they're back together now, right? Am I wrong? Isn't Lenny back with that woman again? I really don't care. I really could care less about Lenny. And remember, every episode last year, I said Lenny is trash. He's still trash, but they're getting along. And everyone was so shocked to see the mother-in-law, who is trash. Sorry. That's someone's mother. But the way she treated Lisa during the divorce was like, but I get it. Lenny probably takes care of his parents and the lifestyle. But people were surprised to see that she was at the premiere party. But it seems like Lenny and Lisa are in a better place and are getting along. I'm happy because they have young kids. Reality TV or not, Lenny being trash or not, they've got young kids, they got a co-parent. I'm happy. Okay? All right. So they discuss Lenny and the mistress breaking off their engagement. She's going to forever be the mistress, okay? Marisol says she's worried that Lisa's going to go back with Lenny. But Alexia says, oh, no, she's so in love with Jody. Marisol says that then they bring up the fact that she found out that Alexia and Todd were back together. Marisol found out in the blogs. And she was like, well, I didn't want to because she was traveling. She's like, I didn't want it to, interrupt your traveling. That would have been a text message. That's your best. And I believe that Marisol and Alexia are best friends. But I was actually really shocked that Marisol found out about this via the blogs. However, being a Taurus, we can keep a lot of stuff to ourselves. No matter how close you are to us, especially if it's with our relationship. Our relationship is our relationship. We're not bringing a lot of people into that relationship, no matter how close we are with you. So this is how I can understand and make and rationalize Alexia not telling Marisol, because I really do believe that they are best friends. Kay Saunders says, Marisol is my favorite. Mine too. Look, mine too. All right. Moving along. All right. So Marisol brings that up. Lisa arrives and they ask about, so how do you feel about Lenny and him getting, breaking up with the mistress? So Lisa joked, and I have to say, Lisa was pretty convincing. I didn't believe her because I was like, she loves Jody. Jody has a bag. Jody's taking care of her. Lisa's not getting back with Lenny. If she didn't have Jody, please understand. Let me hold Lisa's hand. Lisa, let me hold your hand. Okay. Dina says, not me, Kempire. I'm an open book, can't hold water. What's your rising and your moon sign, Dina? Let me hold your hand, Lisa. If you didn't have Jody, okay, you would take Lenny back because you want the lifestyle. You want the lifestyle. Come on. We're all friends here. Let's tell the truth and shame the devil. Let's tell the truth and shame the Diddy. Okay? Might as well. But she convinces us. She's really funny. And Marisol and Alexia are like, oh my gosh, what about Jody? And she's like, I'm joking. I love Jody. Whatever. Dee says, Lisa is a true Leo. To every sense of the word, I wouldn't be surprised that her top 3 are all Leo. And I have a Leo moon. But this is why I like the balance of my astrological signs. My Taurus sun, Leo moon, Cancer rising. Because it brings balance. Okay, I have earth, fire, and water. Brings balance to me. And Sebi says to our Theo in the chat, the AC is so good in here. I bet it was. It's Miami. This is why Diddy was probably down there doing all those drugs. Allegedly. I don't know about the AC over there. Okay. That's what they call it? Miami folks, let me know. Is that what they call it now? It used to be the slopes. Okay. Now we calling it AC. But it doesn't Coke make you hot? Or did I just make that up? Or did I just assume that because, the jokes with Whitney back in the day, because that's why she was sweating? Did I make that up? I don't do it, so I don't know. Did I make that up? Should I move on? Okay. All right. So Lisa jokes about that. So Alexia updates them on the stuff with Todd. She said that after he filed for divorce, 2 or 3 weeks later, he reached out to her. He had a lot of regrets. He can't see his life without Alexia. Okay. So Lisa then talks about what happened with Larsa and over Marcus. And she says that Marcus was hanging out with some of Jody's best friends and they had seen him out and they were, they took a selfie together, blah, blah, blah. But Lisa says she wanted no parts of it. She stayed away. Okay. But Lisa and Larsa got into it over text and Larsa threatened to hang out with Lenny and his mistress. I think she was just being petty. I think she was just saying, oh, so I should just go hang out with Lenny now, too. Here's the thing. Here's the thing in regards to the Larsa of it all. On one hand, I think Larsa's doing a lot, okay? On one hand, because it's sort of like, yes, this wasn't your marriage, okay? But it was your relationship. And let's not forget, I know it's been a long time since Real Housewives of Miami has been on air, but remember when Lisa and Lenny were going through their divorce, Larsa, the one redeeming quality about Larsa was how she showed up for Lisa during that time. Remember we were saying this? We were actually impressed because Larsa could be so flaky in a lot of ways. But in that moment, she really showed up for Lisa. So part of me was like, all right, she really did show up for you. The least you could do is not hang out with her ex. And then Alexia brings up, are you still following Marcus? And Lisa's like, yeah. But I'm going to defend, I'm twerking on the fence with this whole situation, because I can see both sides. I can see both sides, where you want your friend to be loyal to you because Marcus is talking about her on social media. He's making all kinds of comments. He's embarrassing her on social media. But some might say, girl, this is what you get for dating this young man that don't really have his own. How do you go from dating a Scottie Pippen to dating a Nepo baby that really has nothing going on in his life besides the slopes? Besides the slopes. Thank you, Linnea, for the gifts on TikTok. Shout out to our TikTok fam. TikTok fam, keep tapping your screens. We got almost 100 of you in there, and we don't even have 10,000 likes. Shout out to all of you that are here for our recap. I'm really shocked. I said, let me go live and talk about this, but y'all ain't really showing up for this. I could have spent my time doing something else. Note to self for next week. Okay. I don't know what you guys are doing, but maybe they could promote Real Housewives of Miami better. I don't know. They also didn't have Watch What Happens Live. I guess they're on vacation this week. I don't know. They could definitely do better. All right. Or at least with the promo. Or Bravo, what you could have done was send me the premiere early, so that way I could have watched it. But I mean, look, I watched it 3 times already, but still, y'all could have sent me the premiere. I could have helped you promote. Yeah, they didn't send it to me, y'all. They sent it to other people, though, I'm sure. Smart marketing. Just got 500,000 followers here on YouTube and 250,000 on TikTok, but you know, dumb.
What is this, honey?
All right. Moving on. It's okay. Brycey says, I'm here. I'm not leaving. I'm here. Calm down, y'all. Miami. Mario says that Miami is Bravo's ugly stepchild. I don't know why. It's their best. Their best, you know, because there's actual real money here. Just saying. Theo says that Andy Cohen's contract was renewed to 2027. Good for him. You know, remember there was just a couple of months ago they were talking about speculation that he might not be back. He probably put that out there because of his contract renewal. He probably put it out there. That's like one of the oldest tricks in the book. Oh, Andy might be leaving. So he puts it out to the blogs through a third party, and the blogs for the umpteenth time, like, oh, he's not coming back. He's not coming back. Okay. Stop putting all your eggs in the Andy Cohen basket. What are you going to do when he's no longer there? Just saying. You already own his show, so pay him what you need to pay him. He's not that great.
So nasty.
And that's what happened.
So rude.
Okay. All right, let me focus. Let me get through this because I got to go. All right, so Lisa explains the rift between her and Larsa. I'm twerking on the fence. We're going to revisit that. So Julia at home with Martina. Julia updates us. We found out about this on social media that Julia was able to adopt two little baby brothers, okay? So she talks about getting the news. They were away when they got the news. Here's the thing. Let me hold y'all hands again. The jam was jamming, Julia. Here's the thing. Martina, you can hold my hand too. I don't know the rules for adopting a child in Miami or in Florida, but I'm actually kind of surprised. And I don't know if they adopted the kids in Florida. They could have did it abroad. I don't know. I didn't see her talk about those details. I'm kind of shocked because even Martina says we could be their grandparents. So between the age, Martina and her cancer, recovering from cancer, I'm like, so how do we get these babies? I don't know the rules in Florida. You know, Florida is one of those states that you could that's why people move there. But I'm still sort of like, what are the rules? Because I'm glad that Martina said it because I was thinking it. You guys are old enough to be grandparents. And I don't know how, people have that speculation. And look, at the end of the day, you're able to provide a good life for them. And God forbid anything happens to either one of you. You guys have the money and the means to make sure that these kids are okay. But at the same time, I was like, because even when she was talking about doing it, I was like, really? Okay. But let's get to the Gertie of it all. Okay, so they ended up adopting these two babies, brothers. All right, Martina says that they're old enough to be grandparents. Julia held a Zoom, and they did the Zoom, I think, so that they could film it, so they can include it in this season. Okay, so they did the Zoom. Lisa was not even on camera. Did y'all notice that? Lisa was the only one not on camera, but okay. She probably was like, y'all not going to catch me without my Facetune or proper lighting. Okay. So Lisa wasn't on camera. Gertie was noticeably not there. Kiki couldn't make it because her daughter had dropped the phone in the in the toilet. Okay. So she wasn't on there. Gertie apparently was on the call, but then dropped out. But Gertie apparently, based on this, something's fishy about the story, had tried to get another link in order to get back on the call. And by that time, according to Julia, which I think was shady, she was like, my hands were full. It's a click. Let her in the call. There's something fishy about what happened with the Zoom call. Because if you get a link for Zoom, you should be able to get into the call. However, the person that's hosting the call has to let you in. You were too busy to let her in. It's something fishy about this, because then Julia says she has to reevaluate her friendship with Gertie because Gertie sent a cold message, congrats, later. And Martina is always going to ride for Julia. That's her partner. But Julia has done some things to Martina and made things about herself over the last few years that we've gotten to know her. And I'm just like, and Martina puts up with it. So Martina is sort of just head over heels for Julia, okay? So Gertie had to drop out of the call. Julia said that she was a couple of minutes late. I don't know if I believe that. She probably was more than a couple of minutes late. But Gertie apparently reached out for another link. Julia was too busy to send her another link. And according to what we find out later, Gertie is told by Julia, "Oh, you'll find out soon. It'll be announced." But in this scene, Julia says that Gertie texted her congrats when she found out, and that was a cold message. And then Martina chimes in and said, "That wasn't very warm." Martina, there's a lot of things I could say about you, especially in Pride Month, but I'm going to keep it to myself. But I've been real good with Martina because she's not one of the housewives on the show, but she's I didn't like her behavior either and how cold she was to Gertie. Like, if anything, I would want my partner to be the level-headed one when I'm not being level-headed or making sense. You get what I'm saying? And I just felt like she went along with, unless there's something missing here. And I don't know what we're missing, but for Julia to say she's reevaluating her friendship with Gertie, because she said that some other things have happened with Gertie. So I need to see what these other things could be. But if we don't see these other things, okay. Exactly. Dina says Martina's cold as ice. Literally in that scene, for her to be like, that wasn't very warm. You are talking about that wasn't very warm? Okay. All right. Let's move on. Let me say thank you. Oh, Paula, thank you so much for the super chat. Shout out to all our members that send in super chats. We appreciate your support as well. Paula says, finally, a real scheme Todd set up to come to you with the beat. Paula, that was a good one. Rebecca, thank you so much for being a member and for the super chat. She says, I'm still shocked that Lisa is Jamaican. Not Jamaicans. We met her parents, her mom. We met her mom and her aunt, and they have a Jamaican accent. But if you know Jamaicans, yeah, we come in very different colors and forms and things like that. So, Kendra, thank you so much for being a member for the super chat. Kendra says, Julie and her wife, not her wife, Martina, can bounce with that nasty energy towards Gertie. Looking at Julia, all I could think was, not today, neck. Side note, the melon is popping to the camp. It might be my butter skincare. Might be. Maybe. Thank you, Kendra. Not today, neck. Ooh. Damn, not today, neck. Shout out to Candace. All right, let's move on. Let's move on from that scene because I'm still not understanding what happened there, okay? Let's get to Lisa at home, her 6,000 square foot home, All right. With Jody, she decided the next level of any relationship is to move in with your partner after she literally was in the middle of a divorce. And remember, he was paying half her rent at the other place. So now they've moved into this new place that's 6,000 square feet. Did you guys notice how she tried to say, I like this place. It's better than the other place. I think she was trying to make Jody feel like the man, but at the same time, she kind of emasculated him in a way because the way he responded was like, cozy. I mean, it's 6,000 square feet and it has a 6,000 square foot terrace. You could tell he felt a little bit about it because she's like, I don't like that other house. I think she was trying to downplay it and he took it the other way. But fine. But she decided to move into this rental with him, and he's paying $32,000 a month. $32,000 a month for this place. But she says it's cozy. So some of her struggles, as you know, now that she has divorced Delaney, is that now she has to share her kids. And I know we talked about this with another reality TV star, and I was like, oh, that's such a perspective that she has to now share 50-50 custody with Lenny. So 50% of the time she doesn't have her kids. And she's like, I'm very hands-on with my kids. I don't recall that, but it's okay. Like, we're not there with their everyday lives. But when she said it, I was like, did anyone else kind of go, like, you just kind of look to you? Okay, we'll run with that. It's fine. Move on, y'all. Theo says, I wish I had a cozy home like that. Honestly, no. I don't think I would like that. I really don't think I would like that. But, I mean, I guess until I have it. Okay, well, let's see if I have it and then how I feel. Okay? Unless you need it, when you have kids. She actually has kids, so I can see having that amount of space is fine. So she talks about splitting time with the kids 50-50. Then she ends up talking about the issues that she's having with Larsa. And she says she didn't want to make Marcus her enemy because she's seen Larsa and Marcus break up before. And they've broken up 4 times before. So she didn't want to, unfollow him, and then all of a sudden they're back together. I would have just unfollowed him and then like, if y'all get back together, I'm not following him again. Like Alexia said, I never started following Lenny. So I was sort of like, that makes sense to me. Like, I'm not following unless you end up marrying this person and we all like do double dates together, then I'm like, why am I following you on socials? What's the point? Okay. So she talks about that, and then she talked about reconnecting with her dad. Because remember, that was one of the things that we've talked about during our past Real Housewives of Miami recaps, is the fact that we don't know a lot about Lisa's family. And in last season, we got to see her mom and her aunt. This season, now her father had a stroke, and they had put him on a ventilator. They had taken him off the ventilator. Then had to put him back on the ventilator. So she's been communicating with her brother, and she was talking about how she recently reconnected with her dad. And they flashed back to why she left home at 16 years old. So we're unpacking a little bit more when it comes to who Lisa is and why Lisa is the way she is. Because remember, now it made more sense to me. I'm watching it for the second time, and I'm like, oh, so this is why Lisa's the way that she is. This is why she ended up with a Lenny that kind of looked like her dad. We go side-by-side pictures. They kind of favor each other. They kind of from the same tribe, okay? So, Lisa, I understood why Lisa is the way she is when it comes to men, okay? Taurus Moon says Jody had work done. His eyes don't blink. Or it might be the AC. Might be the AC keeping those eyes wide awake. Or something else. Lord. Mexi says Jody is not cute. Neither was Lenny. I didn't expect her to get with someone that was cute. I expected her to get with someone that had money. And she apparently did. But okay. So she talked about reconnecting with her dad. Then we have this other scene with Larsa and her mother at home. I feel like every season with Larsa, she's always grasping for a storyline. It always feels inauthentic. And that's why I find it funny at the end of the episode, her saying that Lisa is so fake. Because in a lot of ways, Larsa can be fake. But there are some ways that Larsa can be so real. Larsa, okay, we'll get to it. Larsa's at home with her mom, She talked about how she loves being around her family, and like when her mom comes to visit, she'll stay for like 2-3 months because they live in Chicago, her family still. Remember, that's where she's from. That's where she grew up. So her mom is there, and then, like clockwork, she starts talking about Marcus. She's got to talk about her storyline. What else is she going to talk about? She has nothing else to talk about. So she starts talking about Marcus and his social media behavior and how he's been threatening her and how this whole situation's embarrassing for her, and that she says that he's been bashing her publicly. Then she starts crying. And I know people were saying that Alexia's crying was fake, but her crying was more real than Larsa's. Larsa starts crying, and I'm like, what are you crying about? She's like, I'm so embarrassed. I'm so embarrassed. And look, could she be embarrassed? Yes. Yes, she could be embarrassed. However, that scene felt so forced and so fake to me. Okay? It felt so forced and so fake to me. But okay. Let's move on. Let's get to the scene. Gertie and Adriana and Kiki meet up. We learn a little bit more about Kiki. And I think the producers are hearing us when we say we want to know more about Kiki, but they're not making her full time. Kiki's hosting the ladies on this yacht because she's a part of the Miami Yacht Club. Okay. She used to date the owner of the Miami Yacht Club. And she still has access, even though she's no longer dating him, she still has access to the different yachts. So she invites the ladies onto this yacht that she's having for the day. Okay. So she's on the yacht. So her and Gertie are catching up. Gertie is talking about some of the struggles that she's had. And I like the fact that she's sharing this because I think a lot of people think once you're in remission, everything is all good. And Gertie's like, no, I gained 30 pounds. I had how many surgeries, radiation, blah, 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 blah. And this is why I feel like Julia should be giving Gertie a little bit more grace. Because not only is she still working, not only is she still doing this reality show, not only is she recovering from cancer, you of all people, Julia, should understand. I feel like you should give her some grace, okay? Because they flash back to a scene where she's meeting with her fine husband that she's been with since high school. And she's just like, I don't want you to feel like you always have to take care of me. Because we have to remember the personality that is Gertie. Gertie is a control freak in a lot of ways. Gertie is a boss. And remember, we said they need to do some sort of like special where Gertie is like doing an event or a show around Gertie doing events. Because I think that would be really interesting. So we have to remember that's her personality. She's used to taking care of everything and everyone else. She's used to being in control. And with the cancer, she didn't have control. And look, now that she's through it, we can have this conversation. Sometimes the universe sends us things like this to remind us that we're not always in control. You know what I mean? And that we need to bring a balance to our lives. So maybe that's why Gertie had to go through what she had to go through, but she didn't want her husband to feel like that she can't do anything anymore, that he always has to be the caretaker and things like that. But she's still going through things. So she had some liposuction. She's still trying to reconstruct her breast. She had a breast reduction as well. So she's like, I'm still trying to, get my body back and probably feel like herself again, both physically on the outwardly and on the inside. So she talks about that with Kiki, and Kiki's, trying to be uplifting. We get to learn a little bit more about Kiki. Okay, not only about her dating life. She has an 18-year-old son that's off to college. We didn't know about the son. We knew about the daughter. She has an 18-year-old son that's off to college. Okay. She looks like 18 herself. Okay. Or like 21. But yeah, so she has that. Remember the guy that she was dating? Well, apparently he had a woman. And probably because, well, she never shared him on the show. She just talked about him. So I thought that was interesting that we found out that he ended up having a girlfriend, but he eventually reached out to her like, I no longer have the girlfriend. Sir, the fact that you would do that and you had a girlfriend, what makes you think that I would want you? And looking like Kiki, she don't need you. I don't know what he looked like. It don't matter. You see what Kiki looks like? She don't need him. And you see that she's on a yacht and she's like, I'm not having sex with this man anymore. He's still just likes me and allows me to be on any of the yachts that I want to be on. Yeah, Kiki's that girl. She's got friends in high places, okay? She don't need you, man. All right. Adriana gives them an update. She's like, I'm dating a new guy. I'm going to put dating in quotes. She's dating a new guy, a French guy. You know, she likes a French guy. So she talks about that. Then they end up talking about what's going on with Alexia. And Alexia and everyone's saying like, oh, see, Adriana, you were right. What do you know about what's going on now that they're back together? And Adriana says, you know, Latin women forgive their men a little too easily. And she said that might be what's happening with Alexia. And if we look at what Alexia has been through and look at Alexia's past relationships, the first guy, drug lord, allegedly. I don't know if he went to jail. The first guy, the second guy, in the closet. Look.
How you doing?
The third guy, I don't know what the third guy is. I think we've yet to see. But okay. But Adriana wants to take a different approach when it comes to Alexia this season. She wants to be a little bit nicer. She wants to be a support to her. Gertie's just like, well, that's nice. I'm sure you'll be the last person that she calls for support, though. Okay. Oh, hold on. Let me see. Theo says Adriana called her date a marquis. Yeah, because he's from the aristocracy, French aristocracy. His name is Amari, but he has a title, a date a marquis, but I think he's about as authentic as Countess Luann. Why do you say that, Theo? Please give us more. Oh, someone said, not this Latina right here. But I got what she was saying. You know, a lot of cultures are kind of like that. So, especially like Caribbean. So I get it. I get what she was trying to say in regards to Alexia. But I think that's also Alexia. When we look at her relationship, this would be her third marriage. Hey, Ness. Shout out to everyone watching on TikTok. Shout out to everyone watching on Twitch. Well, no, Twitch is not live now. On Twitter, X. And shout out to those of you watching on TikTok. We appreciate you guys, and on Facebook, and of course our YouTube fam. Our YouTube fam, don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to share the video. Let me move on because there's so much more that I want to talk about in regards to this. So we had that Kiki with Kiki and Adriana and Gertie on the yacht. Okay, Larsa and Alexia meet up for dinner. Alexia says that I forgot what Larsa said to her, and Alexia says, "I'm not single." Wait, I don't know if their divorce was finalized at this particular point, but then Alexia says, I'm not single until your heart, you're not single until your heart is single.
Lies! The lie!
Do you think Todd thinks that as well? Because Todd might think that he's single and could be dating other people for all we know. She says you're not single until your heart is single. Girl, your heart better get to single because this is not making sense to me at all. So I thought that was interesting. But okay, fine, Alexia. So Alexia says she's afraid to talk about the divorce with Todd. So that's your first problem. This is why I can't ride with Alexia with this whole situation. So you got back with this man and you're on eggshells. Both of you have not talked about the elephant in the room. Both of you have not talked about the elephant in the room, about the divorce, and she's afraid to bring it up. That's the thing. You can't leave me in the worst way ever and embarrass me, file for divorce from me. The divorce is finalized, and we can't talk about the divorce. There is no way. No, I'm going to be able to say everything that I want to say. You want to still be with me? You still want to get all this nookie from me? I'm going to be able to speak on whatever. And if not, good luck to you, man. Just say it. All right. What else did she say? So then they start talking about Larsa and Marcus. And she said, you remember the story about Marcus being caught with that woman earlier on. She says she shouldn't have believed him. And then they bring up when Julia had brought it up in the past season. Then they discuss Marcus being caught with the white stuff in his nose. They actually show it. I was anyone else shocked? I was like, damn, they're really coming after Marcus. So honestly, although I need Ralph to shut up on Real Housewives of Atlanta, I would be okay if Marcus did an interview, because the way that they're showing this man with the puff in his nose on this show, and the way that she's using him as a storyline, it's like the ghost of Marcus is a part of her storyline this season. I wouldn't be shocked if he did an interview, and honestly, I'm like, fine. The way that they're showing you with the zoom lens while you are over there in Europe with the AC. I was like, oh, okay. So they talk about that. And Larsa says that, he was sending me threatening texts. She shows Alexia the threatening text that he was sending. I mean, I believe Larsa in regards to that, because at the end of the day, we've seen him. He's been accused. He's been arrested recently for driving under the influence. I believe, doesn't the AC make you angry? I know nothing about these drugs. But doesn't that make you a little angry? So I could believe that he's sending threatening texts. But let me ask you a question. And I'm not accusing Larsa of anything. But do you think that he's done this stuff in front of Larsa before? Like the AC? Do you think that she's into... I mean, there's a lot of people in entertainment that is into I'm not accusing you, Larsa. I'm just saying, I personally, as someone that's not into that stuff, I wouldn't be dating someone that's into that stuff. And the minute that they pull one out, like, in front of me, I'm like, yeah, we're breaking up. Taurus Moose says rage text. Yeah, it's that stuff. The AC got him going. It's got him going. You would think AC would calm you down, but we're not talking about that AC. Sevi says, I think Larsa loves some AC, the rage she has. I mean, she's always sort of been like that, even beforehand. But again, in this Hollywood, but she's probably also used to people in Hollywood doing it. It doesn't say that she necessarily does it, but some of these folks are just, they're like, whatever. But Larsa does say that, I don't remember. I think wasn't this conversation? I don't remember. But she does say in the episode that he would want to be at the club until the club was closing. And that just wasn't her anymore. Here's the thing, though, Larsa. This is what you get when you're dating a Nepo baby. This is what you get when you're dating a much younger man. And I'm not saying that you can't date younger. And there are younger people that you're dating that can match your lifestyle. But I'm not surprised that he wants to be out partying and blowing up his father's billions with the AC. Okay. I mean, she tried to make it nice, meaning that he just wanted to be out there partying until the janitor was cleaning up the place. He was probably too, drunk and all cooling off from the AC. But okay. Let's move on. All right. So they have that dinner, and Larsa also said, so this was important for me, because I know we don't like Larsa, but this is why I say we got to be rational, because Larsa was really there for Lisa. And I'm not saying that Lisa's completely wrong, because Larsa and Marcus have broken up multiple times. And you know friends like that, where they've broken up with a person multiple times, and you're like, oh, here they go again, breaking up. See, that's why I don't get close with other people's partners like that, okay? So Lisa's thinking, oh, this is just another breakup, they'll be back together, whatever. But it seems like, no, they're still not back together. She's now with another younger man. But okay. So, Larsa drops a bomb that I didn't realize. Like, we know that Lisa was there. Well, that Larsa was there for Lisa during the whole Lenny of it all. And we said it. But sometimes what we see on television is just for television. And in real life, these people do not show up for each other like that. Until Larsa said in her dinner with Alexia, she says, I testified under oath for Lisa. I testified under oath. And I said, oh, so she was real. Team Larsa. She testified under oath for Lisa. That's a big deal. Right? Exactly. Angel says, OMG, I didn't know it. I didn't know it was on today. It came on yesterday, Angel. Came on yesterday. We're talking about it today. We're talking about the Real Housewives of Miami. For those that are just joining us, TikTok, keep tapping your screens. We got 150 of you in the chat. Be sure to, let's get to 25,000 likes. Those of you that are here on YouTube, be sure to like the video. It's an easy and free way of supporting not just my channel, but other channels as well. Don't forget, you can also hear our Real Housewives of Miami recap on the Kempire podcast. And for those that are waiting for my Day 22 Diddy update, it's going to be late today because, as you can see, I'm here talking with you guys. And then I have plans, so you're probably not going to get it until tomorrow. So you'll get a double header tomorrow. So stay tuned for that. The Diddy trial is a lot, okay? So, and this will give you an opportunity to catch up on the Diddy trial coverage that we have. There is a playlist on our YouTube channel. You can also hear it on the Kempire podcast, but the Kempire podcast has extended versions. So be sure to check that out if you haven't already. So, Tiff says, attention seeker under oath about what, though? Remember, there was some of that legal stuff with Lenny. So she said that she testified under oath. If that's not true, I'm sure Lisa will call her out. But I believe that it was true. And I believe Larsa really was there for Lisa. Remember, we were talking about, I know it's been a while since we've talked about Real Housewives of Miami, but that was one of the redeeming qualities about Larsa last season, that I was just like, oh, wow, she's really showing up for Lisa. And she gave her some tough love, too, but she really showed up for Lisa during that time, even when Lisa was being so stupid with the way that she was handling the situation. And Larsa was really giving her advice. Don't rely on Jody. Don't rely on Jody. All right, let me move on. Because, let me drop the call link for our members. Members, if you're a member of our YouTube channel, I'm dropping the call-in link on the post tab here on YouTube, okay? And live chat. Let's get to 300 likes, and I'll drop the call link for you guys as well, okay? And we'll take some quick callers. Let me talk about Lenny. Why did I put Lenny's birthday party? It's Jody's. Okay, we got to talk about this. We'll talk about what happens, and then I need to psychoanalyze all of what plays out. So Adriana is the first to arrive at the birthday party. Mind you, this is a birthday party for Jody, but of course, Lisa's running around like it's her party. She even has an outfit change. She's a Leo. This is the side of Leos that I can't stand, where they make things about them. But this is more, I know a lot of Leos. Lisa's the worst of them all. She's the worst of them all. Because I don't feel like Leos are as bad as the astrological world tries to make them out to be. Oh, Angel says, okay, with the Diddy delay, Campfire, that means I can actually really work out today. See? I know you guys need a break from it all, too. It's okay. You'll get your update later on today. Okay? All right. So Adriana arrives with her new man, Amari. This is where we learn a little bit more about him being a part of the French aristocracy. There we go. And he's okay. Let me be honest with you. He's tall. He's handsome. But if you take a closer look at the man, he's a little cross-eyed. But you know what? There's something about his energy. Maybe it's the good hair. Maybe it's the good skin. Maybe he's tall. But he got a little cross-eyed. Right? Come on. He got a little cross-eyed. Take a look when the camera's not necessarily in his face. His eyes are a little crossed. It's okay. It's all right. He's still handsome. A little cross-eyed never hurt nobody. Okay? Okay, in the bedroom, a little cross-eyed might work. So Cher says, so is Andy. Andy Cohen. Andy is a little cross-eyed too, but not as cross-eyed as Amari. It's okay. It's okay, though. But come on, go back and watch, because some of you were probably too stunned by his beauty. But he's a little cross-eyed, okay? Amari is cross-eyed, Aquarius. Amari, the new Adriana's paid actor. Oh, damn, Adriana, I'm sorry. Bad, Kempire. Bad. Behave yourself. Patrick Bobby says, Kempire, that quite literally made my day. He's a little cross-eyed. But great hair. Obviously, I'm jealous. I mean, my eyes are straightforward, but I have no hair. Quill says, I peeped that too. I peeped it the second time around. The second time watching it, I said, oh, you're a little cross-eyed, but it's okay. You can't be perfect. God will always humble you, all right? It may give you everything else. Beautiful, French, accent, tall, handsome, got a little cross-eyed. Just a little bit. A little bit. Just a tad. All right, let me see. Oh, live chat. Is StreamYard not working? Because I see none of you called in. Something might be going on with StreamYard. I don't know what's going on. I posted it on the post tab. Okay? All right. Live chat, we're almost at 300 likes, so I'm going to drop a calling for you guys. Keep liking the video. It's an easy and free way of supporting the channel. I don't know what's going on with StreamYard. This happened the other day, so I thought they would have fixed it by now. I don't know. But I posted it there. I also still can't stream on Twitch, so I don't know what's going on with that. Sorry, y'all. If anything is perfect for me, I can leave. I'm not done, though. Let's talk about this party. So, cross-eyed cross-eye's there. Okay. Risa said it's an issue with StreamYard. That's all right. It's all right, y'all. Maybe I'll post it again. Remember last time that happened and then it ended up working? I don't know what's going on. Thank you, O'Shea. He says the link is not working. It's a StreamYard issue. Keep trying, guys. And if by the end, if it starts working, then I'll start taking callers. All right. I'm glad I dropped it early. All right. Let's get back to this. So Lisa tries to hook Alexia up. She's like, oh, I got this toy. Here's the thing with Miami. This is why it's kind of like Hollywood in a lot of ways, like LA. It's a little fakery, a little Botoxy, a little sniff, pass, AC, not working. It's a little bit of that. And Miami is not my vibe. And mind you, I have a lot of family in Miami and Florida and things. It's not my vibe. Okay, especially, you already know I don't want to go to the parties. So, okay. So, her friends, Lisa's friends, I'm going to put quotes, and friends start arriving. Okay. And Lisa says to Alexia, I got this guy, 6. Alexia says, I'm married. Julia's just like, you're married until you're not. She's like, I'm married. That's the funny thing because Alexia looks so much like Teresa, but she also acts a lot like Teresa in a lot of ways. I'm married. Very loyal to Todd. But again, this is partly making me start to think, like, is this a real divorce or is this his way of protecting you from something that might go down? I don't know. Allegedly, I don't know. So Julia is there and says that her and Adriana, because Adriana introduces Amari to Julia. But Julia in her confessional said, well, first of all, she's like, oh, so this is who's keeping you busy because she hasn't really seen Adriana. She hasn't spoken to Adriana. So she says in her confessional that they haven't been communicating. And Adriana says it's because Julia has been getting closer to Marisol and Alexia, which I find to be interesting because let's be honest. I don't feel like Julia has really anything in common with Alexia and Marisol. I think she just wants to be connected to them for whatever reason. Because I think Julia is a little bit more down to earth, a little bit more like quirky, very much like Adriana in a lot of ways. So I kind of got their friendship. Okay? So there's a rift in their friendship too happening. So Gertie arrives. And look, I'm always going to keep it real. And our Miami girls usually bring it when it comes to the fashion. And honestly, I think Gertie's outfit would have been fine if she didn't have that wig on her head. I said, what in the Party City? I know Party City is closing and they probably had sales on wigs. So we're going to see a lot of bad wigs in these next few months across the board in reality television. What in the Party City wig was on Gertie's head? Gertie, you would have been better off showing off that beautiful bald head. And mind you, she was showing off everything else. Like they were doing like a Hollywood glam. I wasn't getting Hollywood glam from that outfit. I was sort of like, Gertie, are you okay? Like, what are you wearing? Yeah, exactly. Sevi says it was way too much red. It was just like red wig. I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all. Everyone else looked fine. Gertie, I was just like, Is Gertie okay? It's okay. But here's the thing. I want us to uplift Gertie for showing off her body. Because remember, early in the episode, she was talking about feeling insecure about her body because of everything that's happening. So if anything, the fact that she wants to be able to show some, breast and cooch or coochie, as Kiki said, let her. I just hated the Party City wig. I didn't like that at all. I think she probably would look fine with just the bald head. I think we probably would be like, oh, she looks sexy. But that hair... No. And we're going to see a lot of Party City wigs on a lot of these housewives coming forward because they probably had a closeout sale. Everything must go. So they took all the wigs. That was probably one of the worst wigs I've ever seen, though. Go back and look at that crunchy wig. Okay, let me move on. Let me move on. I have to mention it. Okay? Everyone can get it. Pow. Look, Beyonce. Pow, pow. I love that move. You know that little... Sorry. Focus. Okay. All right. So Gertie arrives, and Gertie is she's still very nice to Julia, despite the situation with Julia. She's like, hey, she's saying hello to Martina, and they're being so weird. There better be some aha moment during the season that explains to us why Julia and Martina are being weird towards Gertie. I don't understand it. It was weird. She comes in, open arms. In Julia's confessional, Gertie is being so fake. You're being fake. Girl, what? All right. So, she's trying to say, "Oh, how are the babies?" Blah 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 blah. Also, I know this is not the place to talk about it, but how is everything's good? Martina's like, "Yeah, everything's good." Julia's like, They were acting so weird based on what we know so far, based on this edited show. Because I always remind you, we're watching an edited show. I don't understand the energy. It's not that deep. You're lucky that she sent a congrats text. If she didn't send a text, then I could understand you being maybe a little upset, but not to the point where you're so weird. So weird towards her. Especially when you, of all people, should know what she's gone through these last few months when it comes to her cancer. I don't get it. I don't understand it. It was very weird energy. Okay? So even Gertie's just like, that's interesting. Okay? Whatever. Larsa arrives, and she says that Lisa didn't return her call. So Larsa and Lisa have a little bit of a conversation. It's like, you didn't call me back. And she's like, I did call you back. You sent me the text, and you were very mean and nasty. And in Larsa's confessional, Larsa's like, she's lying. Is her nose getting bigger? She's lying. And then Larsa says to her, she's like, are you drunk? And she's like, I am a little bit. No, I think Lisa's lying. There's something, and look, Larsa is a liar too, but I kind of believe Larsa in this situation. Because there's something not adding up to what happened between Lisa and Larsa. Do I think Larsa may be doing a little too much when it comes to the Marcus of it all? Yes, but I can also understand her expecting some sort of loyalty from Lisa when it comes to this stuff. Why is Jody hanging out with this man? He would have never known Marcus if I didn't introduce him to him. All right, so let's move on. So they end up. Lisa going to use the bathroom, so they're going to end up having a conversation again later. So Larsa says that Jody likes her ex's last name, and then he likes the person. She instead says that Jody kisses ass a lot. Okay, Larsa just be coming out the woodwork with stuff about people. In a side conversation, Gertie is sitting next to Martina. And it's kind of awkward because Gertie seems like everyone's sort of like icing her out, even though she's good with everyone, but she's sort of like on the outs with everyone in this particular situation. Okay? So, Gertie says to Martina that, no one let her into the phone. She talked about the Zoom situation, and she's like, no one let me into the call. And this is when we find out that Gertie said that Julia was late for the call, and she had another call that she had to be on. But then she looked like she tried to get back into the call. And Martina's energy towards Gertie was so weird. Again, she's going to defend her wife, which is fine. But you could also be the peacemaker. You could bring them together because whatever this issue is not that big of an issue. And you, of all people, Martina, that have gone through cancer recently as well, should be able to understand where, let's give Gertie some grace. You, of all people, should be like, let's give her some grace. She literally went through what we just went through. And she's got 2 young boys that went through this with her. Like, let's give her some grace. I feel like they're not giving her grace at all. And honestly, I don't feel like Gertie necessarily was wrong. Based on what we see, based on what we know, Gertie was not wrong. Julia, you're wrong for trying to drag this out to have a storyline because you don't have one. Maybe. Look, maybe. But it gets a little weird between Gertie and Martina. Y'all notice that? It was a weird energy till Martina gets up. And I'm just like, this is weird. This is very, very strange. I don't like how they were trying to ice her out. And then Martina gets up. I'm like, see, if I was there, I'd be like, move. Go. There was something that Gertie said to Martina as she was getting up. Whoa, it was something shady. It felt like a shady remark. If you guys remember, let me know in the chat. But it was like a shady remark that she made. It's like, you're good. What did she say? Oh, I can't remember. RC says Gertie wasn't wrong. Pink says very strange. I wish I had wrote it down what Gertie said. It was like, I was like, oh. Oh, Shay says that Gertie has dropped receipts on socials. Really? Where? Look. Where? This is live. Guys, as I do this, be sure to like the video. Okay, let me see. What did Gertie say? Where did she drop receipts? Let me see. She also showed how she gained weight. But actually, I mean, Gertie, you gained some weight, but you're very curvy in all the right places. Hold on, let me see. Did she drop the receipts on socials? Hold on. Did she? Let me look. I don't see it. Oh, rest in peace to Ananda Lewis. Sidebar. We talked about that yesterday. Rest in peace to Ananda Lewis. Let me see. Let me see. Oh, wait. Hold on. Let me see. Oh, I'm going to bring this up. And I got to go, guys. I cannot even be here. It's almost 3 o'clock. I got to get ready and get up out of here. Let me see. All right. Let me let me send this to myself so that we can look at it together. Please hold. Thank you for letting me know, guys. Oh, thank you, Destiny. Yes. Gertie said to Martina as she was getting up, she's like, oh, I'm going to go get another drink. And she was like, good for you. I was like, that's a shady good for you. That's a shady good for you. Let me bring this up. Let me show this to you guys. What Gertie posted on her Instagram story. It's the text exchange. Let me see. Guys, if you're just joining us, we're talking about the Real Housewives of Miami. We're talking about the Real Housewives of Miami. Don't forget to like the video. It's an easy and free way of supporting not just my channel, but other channels as well. Also, those of you that are watching the replay of this, be sure to let us know how you would rate the premiere episode of the Real Housewives of Miami as well. And don't forget to share. Hold on. So this is the text message that Gertie shared on her socials a moment ago. So let me see. She says she captions the screenshot of the text that she had with Julia. She says, mind you, she never told me the news by text or by phone. So she literally made me fetch the information and after Googling. Not fetch the information. So Gertie says, hi, are you sending a new link? Never worked when I tried it 3 times. So she's saying that the link that Julia sent was not right. And I could see Julia sending the wrong link and not being tech savvy. Anyone else? Okay. Then Julia says, hi, sorry, my friend. I don't know what went wrong. We only had one link that everybody stayed on. Sorry you couldn't get in. I had something amazing to tell you guys at the same time. Now it's out and have been publicly announced. Talk to you soon. Hope you're feeling better after your surgery and will recover fast. Why couldn't you just say in that moment what it was, especially if it was public information, Julia? If it was public information, is that how you talk to a friend? That's how you talk to a blog, like a blogger, or you talking to someone on the street or a news outlet. The information is available out right now. This is supposed to be your friend. Sorry you couldn't get in. I had something amazing to tell you guys at the same time. Tell me now. Since you already told them, tell me. Now it's out and has been publicly announced. Talk to you soon. Hope you're feeling better after your surgery and will recover fast. See, I can't wait for the Kempire After Dark show. Sidebar, guys. Don't forget the Kempire After Dark show is coming to Philadelphia, July 10th. Less than a month away, Philly. Have you gotten your tickets? Then I'll be in Atlanta August 5th. Then I'll be in Washington, D.C. on August 22nd. Then back here in New York City on September 12th. There are meet and greets available. There's a live stream option exclusively for the New York City show. I can't wait to talk the real talk because I got a few choice words for Julia and this text receipt, okay? I got a few choice words. So, of course, I think I would respond as I would have been passive aggressive because she's lucky that Gertie responded with literally just with a sentence. Because my response, because I'm passive aggressive, my passive aggressive response would have been, okay. Okay. Oh, hold on. Claire says, and this wouldn't be the first time she's been caught with a man. Claire says Julia was spotted doing some heavy flirting with a man at the premiere party. There's just something about her. And I think Martina lets her do her own thing. Because remember, that's not the first time we've heard that. Apparently, she likes a black man. All right, let me focus, y'all. So Gertie responds and says, oh, okay, so I guess I'll look online for this announcement. Okay. I don't, look. And then Julia responds and says, you will understand when you read. Smiley face, smiley face, smiley face. My hands are literally full right now, yet you're texting. So I am dictating this message, but we'll talk to you soon. XXXXX. And then Gertie responds, congrats. She says, thank you. Hope you're feeling better. Team Gertie. And you know we're team me all day, every day. But team Gertie on this one. What in the passive? You could, in all this big old paragraph that she wrote here, she could have said, Gertie, I'm so sorry that you missed it. But I wanted to let you know that we got the babies, blah, 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 blah. It would have been shorter than this sentence. So I don't see a problem with Gertie's response like, oh, all right. Unless you were trying to produce some sort of storyline here. Julia, you're boring. I don't know why you're even back. I don't even know why you're back. I don't like you. You can go. I would say thank you for your services, but you never served. Oh! All right. Thank you so much for those that let me know about that receipt. I'll talk about that again in short form. Okay, TikTok, so you guys can see the receipt. Really, Julia? Annoying. All right. So Jody, we have this little sidebar. Speaking of AC, Jody and a friend is just like, oh, I got a shot in some AC. See, this is why people are like, AC? Because at first I was like, they're filming this party. There are lights, camera, action. It's probably hot in that room. It's full in the room. But the friend is the one that said, I got a shot in some AC. And that's when Jody says, oh, yeah, the AC's over here in this room. I always had a little sneaky suspicion about Jody, and I'm not talking about the AC. Him and his friend going to the other room. Okay. And then we have this full-on fight between Larsa and Lisa, which took forever, and he's still in the other room with his friend and the AC. Okay. Okay. PSF says, what's AC? Read between the lines. Read between the lines. What? Yeah, I got a shot in some AC. Here's the thing, Lisa. And honestly, I don't want to even get into the back and forth between you and Larsa and you and Larsa, because I can see both sides of that situation. Okay, I can see both sides of it. I think you both are fake. I think you both can lie. But here's the thing. I think you moved on too quickly from Lenny and into this full-on relationship and living with this man. You have you have a lack of judgment when it comes to men. And I think because you were so wanting to probably get back at Lenny and move on and move forward, that you really did not do your due diligence on this man. But maybe you're okay with AC. It is Miami. Maybe you're okay with it, especially if you're able to have the lifestyle and have a roof over your head and live this big life. Because let's be honest, whatever she got in that divorce is she's not living the same life that she would have lived. Okay. So as soon as that was playing out in this scene, I was just like, you got yourself. He's not Lenny, but he's another Lenny. So I'm like, oh, she's got herself in another predicament with another man and relying on another man. Because remember, when she lived in another place separate from Jody, he was paying half her rent there. So, but again, Larsa warned her about that last season. No matter how we might feel about Larsa, she actually had some helpful information and if I'm amongst this group of women, anyone that I'm going to listen to when it comes to divorcing and moving forward with your life, I would listen to Larsa, because Larsa ended up leaving Scottie Pippen and doing okay for herself. Outside of the, the OnlyFans and the feet. But I would listen to her. And look at the situation that you're now in. He's in another room with another man with the AC. In the other room with another man and some AC. Angel says she's okay with AC and her man having too much Botox. Just saying. Okay, girl. So Lisa and Larsa get into it. I mean, we could go over it over and over again. Larsa says that Lisa needs to remember when things weren't so good and your friends were there for you. And then she says, Marcus would say, we've said this before when it comes to Larsa. If you come at Larsa and you insult Larsa, like you could say, Larsa, I don't like the dress you have on. Larsa would be like, but your mother was a crack mother. You know what I mean? Like, and you were a crack baby. You know what I mean? Like, she comes out of left field because they have this conversation and she's like, remember, your friends are there for you. And then she came out of her face. She's like, well, Marcus said that Jody was really cheap. What? What? Wait. Huh? Wait, huh? I'm not. I was like, okay, fine, okay. So Lisa and Larsa start taking real jabs at each other. Larsa says that she decided to leave her husband. And, So, and then Lisa says, then Larsa says, well, okay. Lisa said to Larsa, you decided to leave your husband. Then Larsa says, and you let your husband have women in the hot tub. I was like, oh, okay. All right. All right. Oh, exactly. Karine says the type you tell nothing because she comes out of left field. And mind you, it might not even be true what Larsa comes out of left field with. Okay, exactly. Elle says she overshoots every single time. I'm not fighting with Larsa because then she'll probably be like, oh, and that's why blah, blah, blah. She'll just make something up. I don't know if any of it's true. Exactly. She drags you to hell. Larsa drags you to hell and whatever's below hell. Okay. So they start taking more jabs at each other. And then Lisa says that Larsa's sex life is all over the internet. Okay. And then at one particular, Marisol is trying to calm Lisa down. And she's like, maybe you've been drinking too much. And Lisa looks at Marisol and is like, you're telling me that I'm drinking too much? Marisol knows how to hold her liquor, though. Let's be honest. Like, she likes to drink. She likes the cocky, but she's never losing it to the point where you're like, are you okay, Marisol? So Alexia says that Lisa never picks up the phone for any of them. So it looks like Alexia is on Larsa's side when it comes to this, because here's the thing with Lisa. I think Lisa will always choose a man over everything and anyone, especially her friends. And I could have already predicted that she would have never been loyal to Larsa. I could have predicted that. She's going to choose a man every single time. Okay? Oh, yeah, the other thing that Larsa comes out of the woodwork, you can't, because Larsa wants her to control Jody. And that's where I think Larsa is being ridiculous. I think she is being a little too ridiculous when it comes to what Lisa can make Jody do. And she's like, you suck his D every night? And she's just like, because she comes out of the woodworks with this stuff. You suck his D every night? Anyway, so Alexia points out, she's like, yeah, like Lisa never calls any of us, because Lisa's too wrapped up in herself. So then they go in the back and forth, and Larsa says something that triggers Lisa, and she's like, leave. Larsa goes to the bathroom. Larsa doesn't leave. Larsa goes to the bathroom, cries. Kiki's, trying to console her. Kiki's like, oh, I've seen her cry before, but I'd never seen her ugly cry. I could see her boogers and everything. I'm like, I didn't see a tear. I don't know how she saw boogers, but I didn't even see a tear. Okay. So Larsa doesn't leave. Larsa comes back and they start arguing again. All right. And they sit to have another conversation. And Lisa says that Larsa and Marcus have broken up 4 times. And she says, I left. And this is where I say, when Larsa called Lisa fake, Lisa's very shallow. We've said this countless times. Lisa, let me hold your hand, girl. You are. I'm sorry, but I got to tell the truth. And she said, this is how you know Lisa is fake, and Lisa is surface level, and Lisa will always choose a man. She said, I left a real party for your fake breakup. She's mad about leaving a party because her friend was going through some sort of breakup, even though Gertie said, well, Larsa does have TMZ on speed dial. So I don't know what they mean by fake breakup, because we know, you have a friend that breaks up on and off with their partner all the time. I don't know if it was fake. She just did it for cameras, or she did it for the media. I don't know. But she says, I left a real party for your fake breakup. She's too worried about the party. The parties are what ruined your first marriage. Keep it up. Okay. So Larsa says, you're fake. You're fake. You're stupid. When she calls Lisa stupid, she's like, get out of my house. And Marisol and Alexia's like, no, don't kick her out. Don't kick her out. So Larsa eventually ends up leaving the party. I'm Team Larsa on this one, though. I do think that she's overreaching when it comes to what she expects when it comes to Lisa controlling what Jody can do. But at the same time, I feel like Jody really just wants to be friends with Marcus because of Marcus's assimilation to or his connection to Michael Jordan. So I believe that. But I think that's very Miami, where people just want to kind of be, next to someone famous. That's why, people probably went to the Diddy parties. Just saying. But anyway, Lisa and Lenny were having, not freak offs on Star Island. Sounds familiar. Again, probably part of the culture down there. Cam says, I'm Team Lisa. Cindy, look, this is me and Cindy. Team Larsa for now. If we have to choose, I'm choosing Team Larsa because I agree with her. And I'm not surprised that, again, I think Lisa would choose a man over her best friend any day, even though that best friend really showed up for her when she needed her the most. I agree. Paris says, these disputes this episode could have been resolved so easily. I see both sides, but even if Lisa was wrong, I enjoyed the mess. Larsa has a point, but she came in too hot. I'm glad Lisa kicked her out. I agree with Paris. Like, I can see both sides. I'm twerking on a fence when it comes to their argument, because I feel like she's expecting a lot from Lisa, but at the same time, I feel like Lisa even if she wasn't expecting a lot, I think Lisa would choose a man over her friend any day. I do. Lady Hannah, thank you so much. Lady D, thank you so much for super chat. Adriana should get a discount for the cross-side. Come on, let's not do it to the man. The man's handsome, okay? He's handsome, but I noticed the cross-eyed a little bit. Kendra, thank you so much for the super chat. Kendra says, it's coming across like they were jealous of Gertie being a fan favorite. I miss Gertie having Dr. Nicole as her ride or die. Read Julia for filth. Yeah, and I believe the scene that we get with Dr. Nicole this season will be with Gertie. And I believe the cancer situation brought them even closer together. So did you guys miss Dr. Nicole? I like Dr. Nicole. I didn't necessarily miss her, but I wouldn't have minded having Dr. Nicole when Gertie was feeling sort of like left out there amongst the women. I kind of wish Dr. Nicole was there for that. Chioma, thank you so much for the super chat. Chioma says, Larsa is a typical petty Cancer. Oh, she's a Cancer? Makes sense. Cancer season's right around the corner. Shout out to anyone celebrating a birthday, guys. If you haven't already, be sure to like the video. It's an easy and free way of supporting not just my channel, but other channels as well. If you're part of the replay crew, be sure to let me know where you're watching from, how you would rate the season 7 premiere of the Real Housewives of Miami. And let me know your thoughts on what I had to say, what everyone in the live chat had to say. I don't know what's going on with StreamYard. We weren't able to get callers, but we'll go live again for next week and recap it. Don't forget, your Diddy update will be late today, so stay tuned. I will get that to you soon. Probably tomorrow morning, you'll get your Diddy update for day 22 of the Diddy trial. But if you missed any of it, we've been updating you every single day. All right. So be sure to check that out here on our YouTube channel and on the Kempire podcast. Subscribe today. And don't forget, I'm going to rip some of these people to shreds in person during the Kempire After Dark live show. I'm coming to Philadelphia on July 10th. It's less than a month away. Then I'm coming to Atlanta on August 5th. Then I'll be in DC on August 22nd. Then back here in New York City on September 12th. Get your tickets today. Meet and greets are available. There's a live stream available exclusively for the New York City show. Don't wait. Go get your tickets. All right, especially you, Philadelphia. We're literally less than a month away. Mrs. Dash, thank you for being a member and celebrating 26 months of membership. Hi, Kempire. Thank you for all that you do. I enjoyed Real Housewives of Miami last night. Thank you so much, Mrs. Dash. We appreciate you. Thank you to everyone that sent in super chats, Venmos, Cash Apps, PayPals, all that stuff. Thank you for everyone that liked the video. Thank you to everyone that shared the video. Thank you to our King's Guards. Thank you to our channel members. We appreciate you guys being here. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day. It's a hot day here in New York City. Stay hydrated. SEM says, I miss Dr. Nicole and her fashions. Chris says, Dr. Nicole should replace Julia. She's so boring. Kids want to be on the show. Yeah, I'm not going to argue with that. Maybe Dr. Nicole will come back. I think part of why Dr. Nicole didn't come back, 2 babies. I think also the element that they were bringing on this new person that is an ex of Anthony's. I think that might have been her motivation of not returning this season, which is fine. But she ends up filming and talking about it, so maybe she'll come back. Yeah, our Virgo. She brings a level-headedness to this cast of. We're not getting level-headed from the Taurus, Alexia. So Dr. Nicole brings some level-headedness. All right, Amara says, I claim all my cancers. Well, not Portia. I did see that Portia finalized her divorce. If I have time, I will get you guys a video on that tomorrow. Like I said, I have plans today. You'll know about those plans when I talk about it later, right? Thank you to everyone watching on TikTok, those of you watching on Twitter and Facebook, and of course here on YouTube, guys. We're almost at 400 likes. Let's get there. And for everything Kempire, our tour dates, our skincare regimen, and everything else will be in the description. All right, I will see you guys later. And welcome back, Miami. We missed you. Bye, y'all. Thanks for tuning in to Kempire here on the Kempire Radio Network. As always, you can hear Kempire on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts. More information can be found on KempireRadio.com.
If you're a podcast host, listen up. This one's for you. My name is Allie Jackson. I'm the host of Finding Mr. Height, a dating and relationship podcast that I've been doing for 4 years now, sharing my positive and practical approach to dating that's built on my own life experience. And I wanted to share another experience that I've had, my secret behind monetizing my show. It's called Red Circle. And I was just telling my colleague about how much I love their platform. With Red Circle, not only am I getting a seamless hosting experience, but I also love the support I receive in ad sales. It's not just typical ad sales either. It's targeted opportunities based on my show and my life. And the platform is super simple. You just set your preferences and Red Circle matches you with sponsors that align with your show. You can vet every opportunity and their platform gives you great analytics. More recently too, my Red Circle team has brought me opportunities outside of my podcast on social media to really augment the podcast partnerships, bring them full circle. I just can't recommend them enough. If you want to give it a try, go to redcircle.com to get your free trial. That's redcircle.com for a free trial.